Thank you for coming to the first episode of The Feminine Fighter. I'm here, my name is Danielle Okula, and I'm here with Sarahlee, what do we call it, Dannar? Sarahlee Dannar, and Snow Dwight. And I train with Sarahlee at Nostos MMA. That's how I met her, and I want to learn more about how she got into MMA, because it's not that many girls, and it's really cool, and she's awesome.
It's very nice to meet you tonight.
Nice to meet you too.
Can I ask where you grew up?
I grew up in Haverhill, Massachusetts.
Oh.
Yeah, I lived there until I was about 20 years old, and then I moved to New Hampshire.
What part of town?
Closer to like downtown area.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Did you play any sports in Haverhill?
So growing up, I didn't really play a whole lot of sports. I did do some figure skating when I was younger.
Go figure.
Yeah, so funny story about how I got into figure skating. When I was really young, I told my family members, I want to try ice hockey. And my dad found out and he was like, I don't know how I feel about my really, little girl going in there. And he's like, I don't want you to get a black eye and broken teeth. So he actually got me involved in figure skating. And now it's kind of funny because now I do mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
And he's totally supportive. But yeah, so that's how I got into figure skating. I actually really enjoyed it a lot. And as far as team sports go, I did a little bit of basketball in middle school and then volleyball in high school.
Were your parents into martial arts?
No.
No?
Not at all.
Did they fight at all? Or did they get along?
They fought. Yeah, my parents were divorced, but no, they didn't do any mixed. No, it's but no, they didn't do any mixed martial arts. My mom wasn't like very sporty kind of person, and then my dad actually did more like skateboarding. So
really?
Stuff that was actually more illegal. Like back then, it was like the rebel like kind of sport you could call it.
Was he like doing tricks like in like parking lots?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Here in Haverhill or around here?
Yeah, like around like Massachusetts, because I believe that's pretty much where he grew up. So.
Does he still skate?
Not that much, but he can. But
do you skate?
It hurts more now.
Yeah, exactly. He keeps saying, "Oh, I'm too old for this." He could do it if he wanted to, but he's a little out of practice. And I'm not really good at skateboarding, but I do like longboard every now and again.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
If you had to describe yourself, what type of kid would you say you were?
I was kind of a weird kid.
Yeah.
And like pretty rambunctious. Space cadet. I had trouble focusing a lot when I was a kid.
Were you aggressive?
No, not at all.
No, the reason why I wanted to ask this question is because it seems that like a lot of guys you hear, they got into martial arts because they were bullied. And personally,
oh yeah,
I didn't know if that was like anything. I'm just curious if that had anything to do with you getting into martial arts.
Oh yeah, no, that's very relevant. I was bullied pretty severely in middle school, like bullied to the point where even the nerds bullied me.
Oh no,
I was not cool at all
because of your name being a cake.
Yeah, no, I don't know. No, it was a combination of things. I came from a private Christian school where I had to wear uniforms to suddenly entering a public school in a rough neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I just stood out like a sore thumb. It was like the first time dressing myself and trying to enter the public sphere, and they just spotted me right away. And so I was not cool. And actually, funny enough, I joked around all the time that what led me to finally walking through Nostos' doors is probably very deep-seated trauma from bullying.
Oh no!
No,
so
but
I guess I mean you hear about that all the time.
Yeah, even Mike Tyson, he was bullied as a kid.
Oh yeah.
If I had been around and I had bullied him, I'd be bragging about that.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm sorry to hear you were bullied.
Oh, I know, we're laughing about it.
But... Yeah, no, it's fine to laugh about it now, but obviously...
Have you gotten revenge?
No.
We can go later.
Yeah, do you ever see those people again?
No, they're all in Massachusetts. Well, they might have moved by...
Yeah.
What?
They're all flatlanders.
Yeah.
So I guess I was going to ask you for a popular student. In some aspects you were. I mean...
You're popular to make fun of.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah.
did things get better in high school?
Yeah. definitely. I wasn't really bullied in high school. I definitely stood out. It's kind of weird that in middle school I was bullied pretty severely. You would think I would enter high school and just try to blend in with the crowd. I still didn't. I just didn't. I don't know. So I definitely was looked at still as like that weird kid, but I wasn't really bullied, which is nice. I was just left alone.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm just thinking because I feel like there's just so few women that do MMA, and I get asked about it all the time because it's just uncommon. It's not like people are mean about it. And you were saying before when we were talking some other place that your mom always encouraged you to be bold.
Yeah.
And just be yourself.
Oh yeah.
So
That's my mom.
I was gonna say, did you care when they were did that make was that part of it, or like just getting over it? You just don't care.
I don't care now, but definitely like it affected me a lot at the time. Like it makes you like doubt your own self-worth, or like your image or whatever stupid things that they say about you. Yeah, it was a weird time.
Did you do well academically?
I did okay. I have ADHD, and they've been trying to diagnose me forever, and I actually pushed back on that once again because of insecurity. As a child, you don't really know a whole lot about it, and so like I fought back every time they wanted to test me or get me in for medication, to the tooth and nail. And finally in high school, I got tested in middle school because they thought I had a learning disability, and then they were like, nope, you don't. And then high school, I got officially diagnosed and medicated for ADHD, and so I started to do a little bit better actually. Like it actually did help, but there was a lot of like negative side effects to the medication, so I did eventually get off of it. But so I wasn't super good, like I wasn't the excelling student, but I didn't do bad either. And all my teachers really liked me because I was very like respectful in school. Oh. I was just a space cadet. I was just like zoning out and like thinking about anything else.
Yeah, actually, I got tested for ADHD, but I didn't finish the test. That's just how it was.
Yeah.
So we touched upon how you got into the martial arts, but what made you finally decide to go into Muay Thai, and why Muay Thai?
Or even why did you walk in the door at Nostos?
Yeah. Well, why I walked into the door at Nostos? So it's gonna sound like kind of pathetic, but all right. So I just got out of a really bad relationship, like very toxic, and this is when I was living in Massachusetts. And I could not afford to get a place all on my own, so I had an option. I can either move in with mom or dad, because like I said, they're divorced, and there was no way I wanted to stay in Massachusetts because there's too many just bad memories there now. So I decided to move in New Hampshire, actually with my grandparents, just to get out, just to like start somewhere new. And funny enough, even though New Hampshire is very close to Mass, that relationship actually ruined a lot of friendships. So like by the time I moved to New Hampshire, I'm an hour away from everybody. I've kind of lost contact with people. This is gonna sound pathetic, but like I didn't really have any friends. Like not even like they were all kind of lost at this point on me, and I needed something like to get active. Like I have all this energy, but just going to a traditional gym isn't really that much fun. Like I can enjoy it sometimes. So I wanted a social and active way to like move my body. I knew literally nothing about mixed martial arts, anything in that sphere. I've never even tried karate. Like I know nothing about that. So like I didn't even do research. I just like looked up. I was like, I probably just typed in like martial arts near me, and then like a bunch of places in the like New England area came up, and I saw Nostos. I don't even remember what about Nostos that drew me in, like from looking at it on my phone, but I'm so blessed that I actually picked that place. It was just, like I said, a way to get out of the house and be active and like meet people. And that's how it started. And I never knew I was going to like fall madly in love with it though.
I think that's crazy because your technique is so like on point. Like you're very technical fighter. When you see you, like even when you shadow box, I'm like, you look like, I know it sounds bad, you look like a dude. Like because, you know what I mean? Like you've got good technique. It doesn't look awkward or anything. Like you've been doing this your whole life.
Oh, thank you.
How long have you been, did it take you to get this good?
Well, so I first walked through the door around like end of 2017, like I want to say around October. So I've been doing it for a while. Now, granted, I did take some time off like here and there for various reasons, like finishing my college degree. I took the most time off. And then I did move to Colorado just for a few months just to work out at this really cool like lodge that's in the woods. Like it was really fun, but...
Where in Colorado was that?
Grand Lake, Colorado. Probably haven't heard of it.
Is it compared to Denver? Is it up or down? Or
it is slightly northwest of Denver, about 2.5 hours. It's like my backyard was the Rocky Mountain National Park.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
So I took some time off when I was there, but I was hiking and moving my body every day. That was actually one of the healthiest I've ever been as far as like physically. But
Colorado people are supposed to be really healthy.
I had a buddy who moved there. He's been there probably 30 years now, and when he comes back here, we've run a couple of races together, and he's got the stamina, and he can breathe. I ran a race out there. It was a Warrior Dash, and it started out at 9,700 feet, and 30 seconds into it, I couldn't breathe anymore.
Oh no!
But I made it to the end. But yeah, so if you train out there, there's a definite advantage, I think.
Yeah, well, because you're also like training at higher elevation too.
Yeah.
Like, so when I first got there, like it's difficult to walk up a flight of stairs. You feel like old all of a sudden, but it takes your body time to acclimate.
I had to take naps during the day.
Yeah.
I was only in my 70s. Okay, so how many fights have you had so far?
Just 2.
2?
First fight was kickboxing.
Oh.
Don't remember the dates, which is kind of crazy, but first fight was kickboxing.
Where was that
Second fight, Muay Thai. First fight was Combat Zone, Manchester.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah. And second fight was Muay Thai at No Boundaries. And I already forget the name of the town, but it was in Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's in Melrose.
Melrose, thank you. Yeah, I don't know why. Oh yeah, because you fought for No Boundaries.
No Boundaries.
Yeah. Do you like fighting for that league?
Honestly, I really, really enjoyed it because, especially having had the Combat Zone and the No Boundaries, like the rules, that's so traditional, and they definitely score Muay Thai rules, not just sort of like, let's see who won today. So that was cool. No, I was really honored to get to fight there.
It's pretty cool with the traditional like Thai music in the background. Yeah, it really makes you feel like you're really in a Thai fight. Yeah.
And I think there's something I don't know.
In the ring too. Yeah. Because Combat Zone, even though it was a kickboxing fight, you still fight in an octagon, which is kind of weird because you can't really like. I guess you can for clinch, but it was interesting fighting an actual ring.
Oh yeah, it's different where you can like, it's a square. It's so slippery. Did you think it was super slippery?
I didn't notice that problem actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I felt like I was like fighting on a tablecloth. It was like.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have that problem.
Do you know
but I believe you.
Experience?
Huh?
Do you know that from experience?
About fighting on a tablecloth?
Yes.
Yeah, because usually I fight on a tablecloth.
Yeah. Italian restaurants?
Yeah, that's where it all goes down.
Me too. How long did you train before your first fight?
I want to. Oh my gosh, I should have like checked all this before, so I could give you like more specifics. I want to say I trained for a 1.5 years.
Really?
No,
that's it.
Yeah.
So is that
because I went all in? Like the thing is, I didn't have a lot going on. I had my job, and that was literally it. So when I walked through Nostos' door, I was already training instantly. A minimum of 4 days a week.
Really?
Minimum. Like most of the time, like 5 days a week. So I just went all in. Like I leveled up in my white belt. I got all my stripes pretty much within the first like 1.5 years, and now I'm still a white belt because because I need to train more gi and But yeah, I just went all out. So like people like were you're ready. You can fight.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
and kickboxing is a little different too.
Definitely, like Devin definitely has his like where the requirements are a little different versus like if you're trying to train for an MMA fight.
For sure,
but
how many days a week do you work out now?
Oh gosh, I here and there.
Okay, so are you tapering down or? You're not full throttle like you were?
No, yeah.
Well, when was your
I'm in a
last fight?
weird place in my life right now with a lot of things.
Oh, it's a perfect segue.
Oh, gosh. Into
How did you meet?
lower back pain. Oh, sorry. No.
So she just got married?
Yeah, we're not going to talk about my lower back pain. We're talking about my marriage. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
When did you get married?
November 18th.
This year? Oh,
So just recently.
Did you change your last name?
Yeah. Well,
Do you still use your old last name though? Because it's only been like a minute.
Yeah, it's only been a minute. A couple times I've slipped up, or I've written it down, or I've said Sudal is my maiden last name. My last name is Dannar. So yeah, I've slipped up a few times trying to get better about it. But I've already like started the process with like getting a new social security card and all that. So yeah.
No, but I want to hear the story about how you guys met.
Oh yeah. So we met at Nostos at the gym, and it was just funny how it happened, because I was actually telling Danielle right before this that when I first so like I said, I moved to New Hampshire because I got out of this toxic relationship. I wanted to start fresh. I wanted to find a place where I could be active. So of course, going into a gym, the last thing I'm gonna let is a man ruin my time at Nostos. I wanted to remain single, focus, have fun. And I was training at Nostos for, at least 6 months, if not longer, before I ever even met Ross, because I was working on a second shift schedule. So I was only able really to train in the mornings. Oh. So I didn't meet Ross for a little while actually. And so I don't know if you know Jen and Colton, who
of course. Yeah,
okay, cool. Yeah, so
he broke my nose.
No. Yes. Oh my gosh. You gotta tell me that story.
I just got kneed in the face.
Oh.
There's nothing.
Yeah. Dang.
That's okay. Sorry.
No, it's fine. So they were some like my earliest like friendships at the gym. Yeah, Jen was a really big part.
She's so nice.
She is. She was really welcoming. Made me feel.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she made me feel like at home right away. Like her and Jared. Jared's not really there anymore. He's actually training. I forget the name of the gym, but it's strictly like a jiu-jitsu gym somewhere else. But yeah, so anyways, I switched over to first shift schedule, and a lot more classes like opened up to me that were never available to me. And so Jen, I remember mentioning, oh, you should try wrestling, but it's really hard, like physically challenging. And I was like, oh, because I'm still pretty new at this. Like, yes, I was young, and yes, I went aggressively into it, but it's still all new to me. It's still kind of scary. So I, no joke, was almost not even going to do the class. I was almost just going to sit and watch and like just feel out the vibes. Well, I walk in, and Ross, with his very big personality, energetic self, was like, come on in. And I'm like, no, it's fine. I can just watch. He's like, no, you got to join us. I was like, okay. So joined his class immediately. Definitely there was something about him that I liked. He's got a lot of energy, big personality. Really liked him. Funny. Obviously really cute, very attracted to him. And so not a lot happened like right away. But...
Well, if I could ask, you started out your relationship by fighting. I hope it's gotten better.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh well, yeah. There was definitely some fun bickering. He like teaches he coaches wrestling like a military officer. So.
Yeah, it's true.
Danielle knows.
I've definitely seen it. I remember one time, I think he was teaching, we had to do push-ups, and everybody had to do like 15 or something, and there's just one guy, I think he had like a medical issue and just was not physically capable, and like we went around the room and we had to do 15 more, we went around, and people started to leave class.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
But...
Well, I always wore my Penn State sweatshirt. Because I would imagine he's a fan of Penn State wrestling. Is he? Or,
probably. We don't talk a whole lot about like college wrestling together, to be honest. Yeah.
Where did you go to school?
I went to college first I got my associate's degree from Northern Essex Community College in Haverhill. And then I got my bachelor's degree in English at Salem State University.
Salem State. Okay, yep.
I commuted all that way.
It's so funny that you wanted to go back to Massachusetts. So I'm from Ipswich, and the idea of driving through, like, to get out to Salem just seemed like a pain in the butt. Like, if I could take a boat across, I would do it. Because it was almost as far, I think it took me like an hour and a half to get to Salem.
Yes.
Probably just as far from here, because you could just hit highway.
Oh, yeah, it was, an hour or so to get to school the 2 days a week I physically had to drive to school, and then an hour and a half, sometimes an hour and 45 minutes to get home because of the traffic.
Nuts, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was nuts. So this is the time when I wasn't training at Nostos really at all.
Yeah,
this is when I was a
showed up.
complete ghost. Because I was working full-time, well, almost full-time. I was working like 30 hours a week at my job, and then going to college full-time, taking like 4 or so classes, and then commuting there 2 days a week.
I remember you walked in the gym. I'm like, it's another girl. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when I first came back, like when I finished my degree,
I think I like jumped on you. I was like,
a lot of people were really excited, which made me feel really good. You know, like I have such a nice like they're like a second family to me, like at Nostos. So I feel really blessed to have everybody there, and coming back, it just felt really good. People would be like, "Oh my gosh, you're back," and they would always ask me, "Are you back for good? Or are you just on a school break?" And I'm like, when I finally was like, "No, I'm done with school. I'm back." And
it's awesome.
It's funny, I haven't really been training as much. Like I said, I've been dealing with some stuff lately, but yeah.
That stinks.
Yeah.
Why did you choose English as a major?
I was considering, I thought about being an English teacher actually since I was a little girl. I like the idea. I love working with kids. I actually was a paraprofessional for a couple of years and really enjoyed my time working at the middle school, shockingly enough. Middle school age is interesting, but they're actually really fun to work with. And I love to write. So I just figured English makes the most sense, but right now I'm writing a book right now, but I'm kind of figuring out what my life path is.
What's the book about? Your life path, or?
No, it is fantasy. It's like high fantasy fiction book.
Who's your favorite author?
Well, funny enough, I don't read a whole lot of fantasy. I know that doesn't make sense. I read a lot more like thrillers. Actually, I would say, oh my gosh, I'm gonna forget her name. The woman who wrote
The Potter.
No, well, of course I love J.K. Rowling. I grew up with J.K. Rowling. No, because the Hunger Games series. Oh my gosh,
that was like the one thing my daughter wanted to do.
Because that is like fantasy, and it was it's fantasy dystopian kind of. That was one I think the best book I've ever read.
Do you think Tolstoy is boring?
Who?
Tolstoy.
I don't know.
War and Peace.
Oh, I've never read it. Sorry.
Oh, is that his real name?
Tolstoy? That's what he wrote.
Oh, I thought his name was War and Peace. I'm sorry.
Stick to the script.
Okay, let's get back to it. Okay, who are your training partners?
Yeah.
I don't really train a whole lot now.
No, but when we're talking, so back in the day, who did you train with? Did you train? Because I think it's intimidating. I mean, it's funny because I had a similar experience. Like I left my whole world in Massachusetts and I moved to New Hampshire, and I don't know a soul except for the guys at work. And then I started going to Nostos, and I still don't know anyone except for you two. But going in and being in a group of all guys, that was kind of weird, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or did you train more with the guys,
no.
or did you train with the girls? Was there any girls there when you were there?
There were some. Jen was definitely a big influence in my life as far as female fighters. Adina Hornstra.
Oh yeah, I love Adina.
Yeah, Adina's awesome.
So
Adina
she used
and
to train
Keegan.
me?
Yes. Keegan was actually my corner for both of my fights.
Oh, awesome.
I got along with them swimmingly.
They're great.
Oh, yeah.
They trained me for my my second fight. That didn't go so well, but it was not their fault.
Oh, gotcha, yeah. And then...
Oh, that's cool, yeah.
A lot of other girls I might have worked with a little bit here and there just to get ready for fight camp or even help them with their fight camp. Didn't train at Nostos because the thing is there's not enough women in the sport or in one individual gym. So oftentimes women will travel and it's pretty crazy. They'll travel because they either, not just me, but they'll want to work with me, Adina, Carolyn, just try to find more female bodies to work with. And so I worked with, I forget her last name, which is kind of crazy, Chelsea. Tucker.
Yeah, I
oh
wanna
my
say
gosh.
Tucker, but I'm
sorry
like,
if you
why?
see this, Chelsea. Chelsea Tucker. She's awesome to work with. Who else? I did spar with like Glory a little bit. Glory Watson.
Yeah,
that
she's
was
great.
Yeah, that was awesome. I think at that time I was helping her for her fight.
Oh, cool.
Chelsea came down to help me with my fight, which is really like my fight camp.
Oh, that's great.
Right? I'm like, oh, and then Megan Rosado, who trained at Evolution.
I don't know if I know her.
Okay. Trained a little bit with her. She was also great because she was about the same, pretty much the same height and weight as me.
Perfect.
But other than that, it was pretty much all guys at the gym who I trained with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I ramble.
No, this is good.
Now,
I'm talking about like the actual fighting stuff. I want to
Yeah.
when you get in the ring, do you feel relaxed or do you feel stressed or are you nervous or?
Both times I feel just like amped up pretty much, like I'm ready to go, like just full of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like right before I get into the ring, it's the most terrified I've ever felt in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that like walk to the cage or the ring is the most terrifying, I think, feeling I'll ever feel in my life. But once I'm in there,
Yeah.
I'm literally just full of bursting energy. Like I'm excited, but I'm more so like focused, kind of excited. And yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Did you have to cut weight before any fights?
Yeah, I did. When I first walked into the gym, I was pretty actually low. Like I walked into the gym walking around like 145 and I fought at 135. So
Yeah, that's not bad.
that was not bad at all. And I only cut maybe like 2 pounds of water weight. I just had to lose the rest of the weight just through like diet and exercise, but it wasn't hard. Well, I mean, it wasn't easy, but it wasn't, I talked to some of the guys, especially the wrestlers and the things that they had to put their bodies through. And it was not like what I had to put mine through. And then my second fight was a little bit trickier, but still good. And I think I might have lost up to like 4 pounds of water weight for my second
that's
fight.
not bad still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you stay with how do you feel? Is it the nutrition, watching what you eat that has a bigger effect, or is it the amount of activity?
I think it's
Good question.
Yeah, that is a really good question. I mean, everybody's different, and I think for men and women, it's definitely different too. You might know more of the science behind that, but I definitely know, losing weight for men and women is so different. And so for me personally in my journey, it's definitely both, but what I struggle with personally the most is the eating. Because going to the gym is fun. I mean, as long as you're not injured, it's fun. You're like, I'm having a great time. I mean, it definitely has moments where you're like, I don't want to be here. But eating really clean, like all the time, it's really hard, especially if you do happen to go to like a family gathering, a birthday party, or anything. You're just like, oh, I can have this salad, but I can't eat the rest. It's just, you gotta be very disciplined.
The cardio makes me hungry. To be honest with you, that's like the worst part. Is like you're trying to like if you try to exercise more, it just makes you hungrier.
Yeah, I find that. And also, when I clean up my diet and eat right, I feel a lot better. Mm-hmm. But I think it's, and like you're saying, I don't understand what you guys go through because weight loss is so different for men and women.
Well, I mean, the big deal is that you can't squeeze water out of fat. Like fat has no water in it. So guys with big muscles, they can just sweat the water right out of their muscles.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like
I
the
actually didn't know
glycogen
that.
and so if you have the fact that we have a higher like body fat composition makes it harder to do that like water weight cut.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, did you have any sponsors or did you use social media for your,
No, I didn't. I'm sorry, I was shaking my head like as I was listening, but I did not do any sponsors, or I had a social media, but I didn't have it for fighting. I didn't know anything about sponsors at the time. I just wanted to get into the ring. So
cool.
yeah, I didn't like even know how that worked. But now if I were to go back in, I actually have one person who said they'd sponsor me, which is pretty cool. So my old place that I worked at, Renaissance Firearms.
Oh, you work there?
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta talk later.
Okay.
Did they sponsor you?
They said they would. I was hoping. I don't know what happened. I was hoping I would get into a fight. I think just the schedule. I got too busy. Basically, I think that's what happened. But they were like, oh, we'll sponsor you. I was like, sweet. I mean, just to get their name on a shirt, not to like full on pay for like a whole training regimen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know, like to pay whatever fee to have their name put on the fight shirt. And I've never created a fight shirt either or anything like that, but.
Do they sell brass knuckles there?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Just curious.
I mean, maybe though, like, I don't know.
You know, I do a little metal work, so if you ever need a foreign object, for the ring.
What?
That's from wrestling, from way back in the day.
Oh.
What?
Wrestling. You go in with a foreign object and you gouge them.
No, what? That's bad sportsmanship.
It is in the entertainment industry, though.
That sounds like old school, like
Oh, I know.
UFC or something.
I know. Have you ever seen the movie The Wrestler?
No.
Oh my gosh, it's Mickey Rourke. I mean, like, I'm definitely of a generation past you, but like Mickey Rourke, was it Mickey Rourke? I think it was.
I remember the name.
So anyways, he's like a WWF wrestler who's like past his prime, and so the things that he has to do to get his body at like 45, and he's like cutting himself to make because it's pretty heavy, honestly.
Jeez.
Yeah, if you like history, I'd look up Superfly Snuka.
Oh my gosh.
So how has fighting affected your life?
Well, I've only done 2 fights. It's not like a full-on career like, you know, Nathaniel, Grimard. He's fighting every couple of months. I'm sure that lifestyle is majorly affected, I would imagine. I've only fought twice, but as far as like the ways it has impacted my life, I would say it's more like when you're in fight camp or when you're training a lot, there's a lot of, for me personally, mental clarity, confidence, like that sense of like belonging and sense of community that a lot of other things don't give me. So like when I'm in the thick of, training a lot or preparing for a fight, it just kind of centers me, honestly. It's more like the effects it has, like physically, but like even so, like mentally in my life. But it hasn't had a huge impact on. I mean, it hasn't. Like there are times where I've left a job because the schedule was going to conflict with like going and training. Like training. Yeah. At least like, I mean, it's still very important to me. But like at the time, it was like if this is going to disrupt my training, then I don't want it. And I, basically try to mold my life so I could train. Like, yeah.
Because if you're in, you got to be all in.
Oh yeah, especially if you're fighting, it's like a full-time job. So, because you're in like 6 days a week. Right now, of course, there's a lot. Like I said, I'm trying to figure my life out. So I'm not necessarily molding everything around the gym. I'm kind of just figuring out what my path is, but I still want to keep training. I would like to fight again for sure.
Really?
Yeah, I would like to. I'm not like I know like it doesn't seem like it right now. It's more so because I just finished college. I just finished a very also time consuming part of my life. Like college took my time away from my friends, my family. And that's another thing about fight camp, but like it's a very selfish sport sometimes, or like
it's so lonely. Like
yeah, you probably know. I mean, it must be hard. Like I don't know about you, but like it's hard for me to tell people like, oh, I can't do this, or I'm busy, I'm going to the gym, and like having to explain that commitment to them. Not everybody
kind of. I moved up here and I started training at Nostos and started fighting right as soon as. So I don't know anyone. I don't know.
Oh, gotcha.
A lot of people banging down the door saying like, "Come out."
Gotcha.
But
you're recently married, so you've got plenty of time to fight ahead of you.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking of Matt Brown, who just did that seminar. He said he calls it shedding, like he calls cutting weight shedding skin, and I like that image of a snake shedding their skin and then coming out of something new every time they go through a camp.
Oh, definitely.
When you had to lose weight, how much did you have to drop?
So my first fight, I went down to 120, and in high school I wrestled at 125. So I was going down to a weight I hadn't been at since I was 12 years old, which is pretty creepy.
Did it take a lot of your energy?
The first The first time I cut weight, I did it very, very wrong. I was so scared, but the thing that I did not want to do is not make weight and not be able to fight, or have all these people were coming to see me fight, and I didn't want to deal with the humiliation of it. So like I overcut. Like I was 119 like 2 days out. Everyone was like, Danielle, what did you do? And I was probably my best fight too, so it didn't make any difference.
Gotcha. So you fight at 125.
I usually fight at 120.
Oh, 120.
5'6", and then this last fight I fought at 130, which was nice.
That's crazy. I haven't been.
How tall are you?
Can't remember the last time I was 120. I was 125 in high school. I'm pretty much 5'8".
Yeah, you're tall.
Yeah, like I've been saying 5'7" for like a while, and then like the last time I saw a doctor and they measured me, they're like, technically you're 5'7" and 3/4, so I'm pretty much 5'8", but yeah.
I'm tall too. So when you lost the weight, did you lose a lot of energy?
I lost weight, like Sarahlee was saying, by dieting down. And so the part where I had no energy was that month when I was in camp, where I was eating 0 carbs, 0 fat, and training 4 hours a day. That was great. Just like when you're saying like I don't want to be here anymore, like I was like that was not fun. But the fight itself was fine.
Okay.
Because you're light.
Yeah. There was one time I had to lose weight and right before the match, and I was dead.
For wrestling?
Yeah. It still went all right.
You guys lose weight like in very quick intervals, right?
Yeah.
You're just constantly fluctuating.
Yeah.
That must be really hard.
Yeah, when you're younger, it's much easier. Now I'm thinking of having a leg taken off.
Yeah. No, because the thing is, like, I don't know if you've gotten. Did you get into a binge cycle
Of eating?
after cutting weight? Like I'd cut weight and I felt like I was in starvation mode.
Oh.
Like I needed to reconsume the calories.
Yeah.
And no matter what, my body was gonna like walk me to the fridge and get them.
Oh yeah, funny enough, like I had that inclination, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna eat all this food, but since I like, we were just saying women typically like can't cut a lot of water. Like men can cut up. It's crazy to think about 15 pounds of water weight. That's a lot. If I'm cutting anywhere from 2 to at most probably 5 pounds of water, the bulk of what I'm losing is actual like fat or muscle.
Yeah.
So, my stomach shrank so much.
Really?
That after my first fight, so I fight at 135 and I typically would walk around at 145, but after my first fight, I stayed around 135 for like a month, which is crazy.
Really?
Yeah, even though I wasn't trying, like I wasn't dieting, but I couldn't eat like big portions and I was still working out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of crazy. And then same thing, second fight, I did gain a little bit of weight back, but it took a lot longer.
That's amazing. That's youth.
Well, it's also just like not doing a big water cut, I think, too.
Yeah.
Like if I did a big water cut, maybe I don't know, but
I don't know. I don't think my body naturally wanted to be at 120. My body, they say like you have like a weight that you like gravitate towards. My body was like, no, thank you.
That is really small.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you did that.
It's very small.
With all the
Did you
training.
see me at work? I was in front of a heater at the last day before. I was like in front of the heater at work, like trying to type.
Oh no.
Old lady.
Do you feel like this training and your experience in the ring has given you more confidence, self-confidence?
100%. Oh yeah. Definitely, if anybody has confidence issues, like, well, the thing is, the sport, it's like give and take, right? Like, the first time walking in and, like, learning all these things and learning how to move my body in a way I never knew, like, I could do gave me huge amounts of confidence. But then, like, if you go and keep doing it long enough, then you kind of start putting pressure on yourself, and then you realize it's also an extremely humbling sport. Mm-hmm. So it's a mix. It's really a balance of, I feel great. I feel so confident. I did so good at the gym today. Like, yeah, I'm feeling on top of the world. And then another day, you're like crying on the way, like home, like I got submitted 75 times.
100%.
But yeah.
Where were we?
Oh. Do you feel like the guys at the gym went easy on you?
Oh,
my question. Yeah.
You should answer this first.
No, I want to know what you feel.
All right, you gotta answer it.
Okay.
I really want to hear what you think. I don't even know sometimes. I really don't. Like, honestly, I feel like men are competitive at nature, and it doesn't even matter if you're a woman. And like, but at the same point, there's definitely been times where it's really hard because as a woman, if you do happen to beat a guy at, let's say, like if you're grappling, you get a submission. I hate to say this, but a lot of times, unless they're a brand new guy walking through the gym or it's very obvious they made a wicked bad mistake, I have to question myself, did they let me get it?
Yeah.
Every single time without fail, and it's like the worst feeling. And then, every now and again I have asked someone because I just needed to know. I needed to know, did I actually get that submission? Like, please just be honest with me. It's okay if you kind of like loosened up a little bit, because it is hard, because I know guys don't want to like out muscle me because they're always going to win if it's a muscle competition.
Or even weight. I mean, you say you're big, but you're not. Like, most of the guys are big, are 190, 200. Really.
Yeah, right. And so that's the hard thing, is like they're trying to be respectful. So I don't even think guys necessarily go easy. I think they're just trying to be more so like not overly powering.
Did anyone ever tell you that yes, they threw the match?
I think I've had people be honest and be like, yeah, because I want you to actually get good work in, which I appreciate, because it's once again, it's a really fine line. Like, I've had people just lay on me for 5 minutes. No one's getting anything out of that, but then you don't want a guy to go so easy that it's like, a little degrading at the end of the match. You're just like, well, now I just feel like a child. It's a really hard fine line. Yeah. A lot of the time, so men are pretty competitive, honestly. I mean, they don't want to lose. They also don't want to lose to a girl. So if you do 100%. Sometimes get a submission, like I said, either they really put their ego aside, they want you to get good work, or you caught them. But I always wonder, like, what did I really get that?
See, I think that like the BJJ culture is so, because it's like belted, there's such a hierarchy, and one of like I don't know, maybe it's just where I was taught, but like controlling your ego is like the number one thing. And so guys are encouraged, especially if you're a white belt or someone smaller than you. I don't think it's necessarily gender. It's like white belt, smaller person, smaller size person, that they're not encouraged to like overpower you. But with Muay Thai, less so.
And so there's a totally different feel if I'm grappling a guy versus if I'm sparring a guy too. I don't even know how I put that into like, I mean, lucky for me, I haven't had really bad situations, really. I mean, no, Nostos is a really good gym. Everyone's got really good sportsmanship. Yep. Really good sportsmanship.
Now, if you're just out somewhere on the street, do you feel safer now that you have some combinations you can use if somebody attacks you or something?
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, like I'm realistic, but yes. And I've always kind of think, like, even before I started training, I'm a little bit of like, I get a temper, so like I'm like, welcome a fight. Yeah, let's go. Before I even started training.
That's funny, because I think to get where you are today, and I think you probably just must have had some insane natural talent, and you put in a ton of hard work, but there's something that you can't describe about that aggression.
Yeah.
It's either you're game, if you're not game, and like there's some, I feel like, because I'm a snob, but I see like some little kids coming in, when I say little kids, probably in their 20s, and they
oh jeez, little kids. Because there are kids in the church.
But they're so gentle, and I'm like, you gotta toughen up, kid.
So as far as music goes, do you like Pink?
As far as what?
Music.
Oh, good question.
We're all gonna get in a fight.
Oh
yeah.
But that's a good question. I mean,
music? You're switching gears to music?
I just was curious,
Oh, I mean, I'll listen to anything. I listen to some classical music on the way here. I've been really into instrumental stuff lately.
Really?
I've really tried to listen to classical music, and I just can't do it.
Really?
I can't.
Huh.
You know what actually is funny is that I don't have a diagnosis of ADHD, but now I have the little bike under my desk, and when I have a really hard time because we have an open space workplace, so I've been putting on isochronic music. It's like ADHD relief music.
Oh.
And it's pretty monotonous, but then there's like kind of it's a beat, and it's been helping me so much.
So
What's the name of the band?
It's like It's like techno.
Oh,
It's
do
early in the
you
morning.
do you guys know? I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce this. Lofi.
Yeah, lo-fi.
Lo-fi. Is that how you pronounce
yeah,
it?
but that
Oh
puts
my
me to
gosh.
sleep a little bit. But it's
Oh,
very
really?
similar. It's like that, but with a little bit. It's more like what would be like you would think in a club. Like,
Interesting.
and it
Heard
keeps
that.
me so focused.
Oh, really?
See, I want to learn to dance like the techno Viking.
Who's the techno Viking?
Yeah. I don't
Oh,
know
you
who
gotta
that
look it
is.
up. Yeah,
Okay.
it's been around a long time. Yeah, he's like my hero.
Really?
What do your friends and your family think about you?
Yeah.
You never
Kicking
answered
butt
my
and taking
question.
it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you agree with me?
So I feel. I mean, this was. There's so much going on with this subject. Like, I feel like, I've always gotten in trouble for going too hard. Like,
Gotcha.
my 80%. I have a lot of like aggressive energy, I guess, and I'm super just playing around, and I don't mind getting punched in the face. So I think a lot of times, dudes, the way they get with the if someone's going too hard, like a beginner, they'll like clock them, and that's supposed to knock them down a notch. But with me, I'm like, oh, fun!
Oh.
And so
I
like I remember
gotcha.
I was training with like actually the guy who's killing it, Captain America.
Oh yeah, you trained with him?
Yeah, he was my coach, and I used to train with him all the time. And he's like, I hit you harder than anyone else in the room because you like come at me, just like straight in like a beeline.
Yeah.
So that's just me being me. But
Yeah, so it sounds to me like you didn't have to worry about like men going like super easy with you though.
No, but then the weird thing is that I've had so many injuries this year. I blew up both my knees. I got my nose broken twice, and I've had all these fight camps where like I'm like timing it. Like my nose should be set like the day before weigh-in, so I'll be fine. So I'm doing my fight camp with like a helmet on, or I'm like, don't touch this. Just don't touch this knee. And so there, one of my friends was. Said it's so unfair because like they're not allowed to punch me, but I'm like wailing on them the whole time.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you how much I appreciate the guys that will let me do that and won't crush me during my camps.
Yeah.
When I'm like in a half injured, half malnourished state. So I know they're doing it, and I appreciate them so much because it must be so crappy. And it just goes to show how people can put their egos aside and how there's such a good culture at Nostos, which I said, like,
Oh yeah.
Devin definitely cultivates that culture.
Oh yeah.
About
I
like,
never feel like in danger unless it's like a new guy, you know what I mean? Like off the streets.
oh
you
yeah,
don't know
I
them.
heard it's an accident.
Yeah. So that's all right. Well, thank you. I appreciate you sharing.
Yeah.
I wanted to hear because I actually don't talk to a lot of female fighters about this stuff sometimes.
But I don't
It's
have.
fun.
I'm like so. I'm like that little yippy dog that doesn't realize that I'm a little dog.
Yeah.
Like I was rolling with this guy the other day, and I was like, "Oh, how much do you weigh?" He's like 190, and I was like, "Oh, I thought he was my size." Like I couldn't even.
Really?
Yeah. It's like a little bigger than me. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Are you an introvert?
Oh, what?
No, I was gonna say that would be a funny question.
Yeah, no, I like that question. Growing up, I was always extremely extroverted, and now I am definitely both. Like, I love alone.
Well-balanced?
Yeah, like I like my alone time, but I also like can't stay alone for too long either. So mix of both.
What do you think that biggest obstacle was that you had to overcome as a female fighter?
He didn't even have to read the script. He just
Wow,
memorized that.
yeah.
That was great.
Oh, I was going to ask that anyway. I always ask that.
Oh my god.
Oh, we skipped the other one.
Yeah.
The other one.
Let me think about this for a minute.
Do you want to ask the other one?
I would
Think
know. I think I got my answer. I would say like probably. Well, now that I'm older, this side of me says.
How old are you?
That's PII.
I'm 28.
That's what I figured. I was like, I'm teasing.
I'm
because,
gonna be
like,
29. Well, I don't know about you, but I feel like the older you get. All right, so I'm going back to weight really quick, but it's relevant, I swear, to being a female fighter. So right now in my stage, sometimes I wish there was more heavier classes for female fighters, but that's just me wanting to stay fat. But like, so if you were to ask me now, what is the hard part? I would say the fact that there's like I would have to just lose an insane amount of weight, like a lot, to get down to my fight weight.
But you could go up easy. I could see you
But
fighting
there's
a
not a
145.
lot. I don't think there's a lot of 145ers.
I know.
Well, you know what else they don't have around here is belly buckers.
What is
'Cause,
that?
well, I'm bulking up for that.
Oh.
I want to get in a belly bucker lead.
Yeah.
But yeah, so is that the biggest obstacle? You think your weight or
right now,
Yeah.
but back when I was skinny, and weight was not an issue. The hardest part I think is not having enough female bodies, like because once again you go right back to what I was just saying. If I roll with a guy and I get a submission, or if I am sparring with a guy and I think I'm beating him, I have to wonder, am I actually? And that's a scary thought to have in your head when you're preparing to actually go into the cage, because you go in and you're either like, I have potentially a false sense of confidence, or on the other side of that, I'm going to get my ass kicked. But you know what I mean? Because like you either totally got your ass kicked. Like I will never forget during one of my like round near one of my fight camps, you know, most of the people I was working with were men, and they were bigger, stronger, better than me. And at one point I just sat down, put my head, and I was like, oh my God. And he's like, what, you know, like, I think he thought I was hurt. He's like, are you okay? I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Sorry. I don't know if we're allowed to say swears. I was like,
you can beep that.
beep it. Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm going to get my butt kicked in the cage. And he had to be like, you do realize I've been doing this for longer than you. I'm heavier than you. So it is a weird thing being a woman getting ready for a fight, because I said, I'm going to have sometimes moments where I'm like, I'm going to get my ass kicked. And then the guys have to be like, you do realize, like...
But I feel like it's a double-edged sword. Like right now, I feel like I've hit the limit about what I can physically keep up with the guys at. But I feel like once you start making exceptions for it, like I did for that last fight, like I know everyone went easy on me, and like I can't do the push-ups and the pull-ups like everybody else is doing anymore. And once you let that handicap set in, it's like a slippery slope.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's, well, mind you, I was just being detrimental to myself. Like, he had to come up and be like, you're doing good. Yeah. Like, we wouldn't let you go in if you weren't ready.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, for sure. You also don't want to be like, use that as a handicap either. For sure.
Because it's kind of funny. I think this is like one of the few sports, because there's so few women, that we train with the guys, and that's how it is. There's no like basketball team or like baseball team or whatever. Like,
exactly.
we're just in there with the guys. Like,
Yeah. So I think you've said a lot about it, but I'd like to come out and straight ask you, what was it like being one of the few women in the gym?
I mean, I didn't mind it. I took a like male dominant trade in high school. Like, I'm used to being around like the guys, like, or being like one of the guys. So it didn't bother me in that sense. And especially because when I first entered it, I was just having fun. I didn't know I was going to fight.
Yeah.
So first entering as one of the few women didn't bother me really at all. I think the only time it starts to bother you is when you start getting really competitive. That's when it starts, because I said every now and again, I'm like, I want a body that's similar to mine. Like, just so I know. Yeah. So I know, like.
I prey on the high school guys.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
Is that why they call you Cougar?
No. I walked right into that one.
Oh my gosh.
No, because they're about my height and they're about my size, and as soon as they like come into their full weight, then I'm like, bye, have fun.
Right. Or, women, just because they're gonna go hard. Even Devin will say that. I don't know if Devin's ever come up to you, like, oh my gosh, there's this one girl, I forget her name, sweet girl, purple belt. Always a sweetheart all the time. Apparently she was absolute savage, just holding back. This is the first time I ever told Devin, I think I want to do an MMA fight. He set me up with her, and he goes up, he said, don't hold back at all. Because he knew that if he said that to a guy, there still might be that inclination to hold back. Yeah. Versus asking a woman, do not hold back. She's not going to hold back. She submitted probably like 200 times in like 3 rounds.
And you're like, ooh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny how... Yeah, I feel like when we're training, because you always want to be so respectful of your partner and you want to like set your ego aside, that sometimes it's hard because when like I was so surprised my last fight, and I think it's just me getting old, but like how hard and fast she came, and I was like not training at that level, and I put it back to the fact that I was injured in my camp and I was telling people to hold back a little bit. No, so I could keep fight. I didn't want to have to call my fight, even though I was half broken.
Did you have a mock fight?
I feel like every time in my camps, there's like 3 weeks out, Devin is like beat the crap out of her. Like I was literally
With a woman though?
No, this time I had Noah. He clinched with me for half an hour. I was pissing blood when I got home. I was so bad. It was just knees, belly shot. Because he couldn't hit me in the knee and he couldn't hit me in the nose.
What?
Yeah, and so I feel like all my
gosh.
fights, like 3 weeks out, he like humbles you. I don't know if it's I get shark tape. Like I remember the first one of them, and I was just like everybody took turns being on mount, and for like a whole like class, I was just on bottom for the whole class, and like those were the ones where you go home crying.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I think it's part of it. I always thought it was intentional.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, no, Shark Tank. Shark Tank is a thing.
And then the week before your fight, he tries to build you back up.
Yeah. Okay. Because if you feel like, oh, I wasn't ready for the intensity of this, I would say mock fight's a good way to do it. Especially with a girl. Oh, too bad Carolyn didn't go with you?
No. I mean, that was true. I didn't find a lot of, there wasn't a lot of people my size. And like the guys that usually would fight at my size, they were injured. I don't know. I think that was part of why I was like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, no, just because I'm like more so thinking from my experience.
If you went to the gym tomorrow and a woman came in that had never been there before, what advice would you give her?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. Oh man, like just overall arching advice for like martial arts.
Ooh, yeah, focused on like.
Or like the shy girl. No, this was my question, but he can piggyback on it. But like the shy girl who wants it but doesn't want to say she wants. You know what I mean? You gotta like.
Don't apologize for taking up space ever.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, like that is a common thing. I think not just women, but with newbies. Like,
Are they do you find them timid? Or
Yeah.
just shy or reluctant?
well, like, I mean, there's newbies who will come in and be like, I'm gonna do the UFC.
Yeah.
And then there's newbies who I do a little UFC back in the day. All right. You don't want to fight me, bro. I see red and I punch drywall. No. I know I'm making fun of people now. No, but then you will have the timid people. So like, I've had men and women tell me, especially once they know like I fought, or if they see my picture on the ceiling, they'll be like, I'm so sorry that you have to work with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, stop that now. And I know where that comes from. Because
Yeah.
I've also been that person on the other end being like, sorry, I basically exist in this space. And that's why I say my number one advice to anybody is do not apologize for existing in this space. You are welcome here. You are meant to be here.
Yeah.